Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to do another classic film review, and it is for the 1988 comedy movie Funny Farm that stars Chevy Chase and Madeline Smith. And this is one of my favourite Chevy Chase movies. And it doesn't seem to be a movie that a lot of people talk about when they talk about Chevy Chase. It doesn't seem to be one of the ones that, is at the forefront of people's minds. However, this is a film that I used to watch endlessly years and years ago, in the early 90s, mainly on VHS. I think I had it at the time, and it's a very, very good, funny movie. And it basically focuses on Chevy Chase's character Andy Farmer, who is a sports writer in New York, and he and his wife Madeline Smith, Elizabeth Farmer, decide to give it all up and move to the country, to Redbud, because he's going to become a writer. He's going to release that novel that everybody's got inside them and do it out in the country. So they're starting a completely fresh new life, and they head on out to the country. It doesn't start well because the moving truck that's taking all their stuff up with them gets lost, which in itself is funny. So the first night doesn't go well. There's no furniture, there's no food, the movers are lost, and basically what this film focuses on is it all going terribly wrong, and just nothing goes right for them at all. The phone isn't installed correctly, people in the town hate them, they keep messing up, they buy a dog, it runs away. The book he's writing, he can't do it, he can't get into the writing, so she starts writing a children's book, which he feels a little bit betrayed about. There's sheep testicles involved. It's a catastrophe of events that just is very, very funny to watch. Basically, it all goes terribly wrong, and then right at the end, they fall out tremendously and they decide they want to sell, but they have to get the town on board to try and sell up so they can move on. But the townspeople are so extrovert and bonkers, they have to ask them to act normally when people come and view the house, and they offer to pay them off. So it's a really, really fun movie. It's almost like a sketch comedy, really. It's very, very good. It's almost perfectly written for Chevy Chase's comedy. I think quite a lot. He is undervalued, I think, as a comedy actor, Chevy Chase. He has done a lot of very, very good movies, and like I say, this plays perfectly to his subtle humour, with the undertones of this manicness that he has sometimes. That you see that rise to the surface. It's very melancholy to start with and all normal, and you just see him slowly spiralling into this madman, basically, because it's all going wrong. So it's a very, very funny movie. It's I think one of Chevy Chase's strongest movies, and the chemistry between him and Madeline Smith, I think, is one thing that really works in this movie. A film that focused so heavily on a married couple with no children and stuff, the chemistry had to be right, and I think it was here. It really, really was. It's, apart from Beverly D'Angelo in the National Lampoon's movies, I think it's one of the strongest connections he's had in a movie in regards to chemistry with a female lead. So I think if you've never seen Funny Farm, it's definitely a film to seek out. It is genuinely funny. I hadn't seen it for a long time, until I watched it again to prepare for this review, and I watched it and I genuinely laughed out loud at least half a dozen times watching this movie. And to be honest, I couldn't remember it being as funny as it was. I remember enjoying it and I remember thinking it was funny, but it's probably over a decade since I've seen this movie, since I last watched it. So I was really, really delighted that it still was as funny as I remembered. And it's not one of those R-rated things. There's no swearing to speak of in this movie. It's just the situation they're in and the comedy that's written for this movie. It makes it really fun, and really, really entertaining. And I think it's definitely one to put on your list if you've never seen this Chevy Chase film, Funny Farm. Very funny, much funnier than I remembered, and definitely I would say this is worth a watch. So, and what this has actually done, it's actually inspired me to go back to my top 10 list. So coming up on the channel is my top 10 favourite Chevy Chase movies. So I'm going to hopefully try and film that today, and I'm going to get that up on the channel as soon as I can, and I'm going to try and do this weekly, a weekly thing, a top 10 list of my favourite actors' films and our actresses' films. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, if this is your first time visiting Screen Stars, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, everybody.